Hello, my nasties. Welcome back to the channel. Today is, of course, another Sketchy Saturday video. For those of you who are new here, hi, hello, welcome to the Freak Show. Grab a seat in the front so that we can all judge you accordingly, please. If you are new to my channel and you are unfamiliar with Sketchy Saturdays, what they are exactly what they sound like. I grab a sketchbook, I choose a page in that sketchbook, and I render it to whatever degree I feel like it. It could be a quick render, it could be a little bit more involved, but either way, it's a page from a sketchbook which I then either chat through or voice over to, and voila, that is it. That is a Sketchy Saturday video. Now, in this instance, I'm going to be focusing on a Patreon sketch. This sketch was created exclusively for my Patreon patrons at the Color Fiend tier. That tier receives exclusive line art every month to color, because typically those of you who sign up at the Color Fiend tier are colorists, so you guys enjoy coloring, and so I create exclusive pages for you all. And what I do is I create the sketch in my sketchbook, and then I turn that into line art for my patrons. And then in this instance, I was so in love with this sketch that I decided to sketch it out. So today's topic of conversation is, we're just going to consider this video the Sketchy Saturday, the Kendra's Question edition. So this is the Kendra edition of Sketchy Saturday, because I posed the question to my patrons. I said, hey guys, if anyone has any burning questions for me, anything they're wondering, let me know, and I am happy to answer questions. Now, the thing is my audience is very small, so those of you who have been here for a while and who are dedicated watchers, and those of you who are dedicated enough to even be patrons, I have a feeling most of you already know me, probably more than you want to. So most people didn't have any questions. Several people liked the post, but only one person responded. So I thought, okay, everybody's just comfortable with me. They're used to my shit. They know me. They don't care. But Kendra, shiny, bright, shiny new Kendra, is a newer patron. So she asked me a few questions. Let's see here. I do have them written down. I do not take notes when I'm filming videos. So I like to be off the cuff and unscripted. But I do need bullet points, because if not, my scattered brain is even more scattered. So that said, Kendra, fresh meat Kendra, I absolutely do not mind repeating myself, and this goes for everyone, not just patrons. If any one of you in YouTube land ever has a question and you're timid because oh no, I don't want to ask Karla, I don't want to offend her, or I don't want to ask her something she's already answered a million times previously, don't worry about it. It's okay. I don't mind repeating myself. People are trickling in here all the time. They don't know me, and it's always good to have a little refresher. So don't be timid. If you have any questions at any time, there's no such thing as a stupid question, truly. Stupid people, yes, but stupid questions, no, not at all. So feel free to ask. So Kendra, darling, she asked me 4 questions. And if you hear my glass tinkling over here, I am sipping on an iced chai tea today, unsweetened, just plain chai. It is delicious. All right, so let's get into it. Question number 1. Well, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to no, let's just dive in. So, question number 1. What got me? Oh, you know what? Before we start, sorry, I'm just yanking you guys around. I'm sorry. Okay, let me discuss what is going on in this video prior to my jumping into the question. So, I told you already what the illustration is. It was an exclusive line art for my patrons, but the theme of it is themed around the idea of tropical goth. I recently released my latest coloring book, which is of course titled Tropigoth, which is all things spooky, bright, bold, funky, tacky, fabulous, and tropical, like your girl over here. So that is what inspired this page. This girl would have fit right into Tropigoth, but she went to my patron. So that is where my mind was for this illustration. Spooky, tropical. She's a cute, spooky girl with, spider webs and skulls, and you know how I do. And the supplies that I used in this video, I typically link them down below. If I forget something, let me know and I will either put it in the comment box or I will reply to your comment directly. But typically I will have the items either linked and or listed. Anything that I can find on Amazon, I will link for you, but if it's available anywhere else, I will simply list the supply down below so that you can purchase it wherever you feel like it. Never feel obligated to use my links. If you want to, do it. If not, no problem. They will be down below anyway. Okay, so I used a variety of alcohol markers for this sketch. I wanted to keep this strictly marker. I use a lot of watercolor. I use a lot of water-based markers, so I use them interchangeably and many times together. I will mix a watercolor with a watercolor marker, and then I will put my ink work on top of that. But today I was in the mood for just straight up marker and ink, and it felt really good. This is where my roots are as an illustrator, is just straight up marker, and it feels really good to get back to that without having to bring out the water and the this and the that. Because also, topic for another day, and actually I uploaded a video recently highlighting one of my paintings. I've started painting again, which is incredible. Oh, I miss painting so much. And so because I'm dealing with water and gouache over with my paintings, I wanted in my sketchbooks to stay away from water. See, I like to separate my worlds a little bit. So that's what we're doing. Okay, let's get into the question. So Kendra's first question, and again, there are 4 questions that I will be answering. The first one is, what got me into drawing and how long did it take to get where I am now? So what got me into drawing was very simple. I was actually at one point, believe it or not, a human child, which I know some people are just shaking their heads in disbelief, but alas, I was a human child at one point long ago. And as with all children, I enjoyed scribbling. I enjoyed crayons. My first love was coloring books. And as I grew older, still a child, coloring books kind of fell out of favor with me in favor of other things. You know, I was a huge video gamer, and so I was playing a lot of video games and all of that, and watching a lot of animation. I was in, gosh, it must have been mid to late junior high, I think, really is where my memories as an artist, as a quote-unquote serious artist, really started. I was a late bloomer. I always tell people I did not spring to life with a crayon in my hand. I was a prodigy. No, I was definitely a late bloomer. I was a teenager when I started, well, right on the cusp of teenager or just becoming a teenager. I don't even know. The memories are nebulous, but I found a book. It was a Disney storybook, and I distinctly remember that it was The Lion King, because The Lion King was my absolute favorite Disney movie as a kid. It was a Lion King storybook, and at this point, The Lion King wasn't even new anymore. It was an older film. I don't know. I was a weird kid, and I was always stuck in the past, always watching old cartoons, old Disney movies and such. And I had that book. And one day, out of boredom, it was summer vacation, I decided to just sit at my desk and draw the bird, Zazu the hornbill. And so that's what got the ball rolling. I started copying, not tracing, mind you. I was copying the pages, and I was actually shocked at how good they were. And I shocked myself, okay? And I thought, oh, I'm actually kind of good at this. And so I continued to copy illustrations from books, and then I started eventually creating my own characters. I was drawing all of the clothing that I was not allowed to wear, basically, and that's just how it started. It was illustrations on notebook paper with shitty markers, and that's it. Bic mechanical pencils. Now, to answer the second part of your question, Kendra, how long did it take to get where I am now? I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. Do you mean how long did it take for you to achieve this level of success? Or I'll just assume that's the route that you were taking. And I hope that did not come across as hubris, because I do not claim to be a successful artist. At this point in my life, for the first time in my life, this past year has been the first time ever that I have fully supported myself with my art, because I have always had, to some degree, a quote unquote day job, an adult job. I had jobs and then I became a freelancer, and I had a long period of time which I was a freelancer, and then I finally cut that cord and became a full-time artist. And at this point, I would not consider myself a success yet. And the reason for that, not to say that I am not proud of my accomplishments, because baby, it has taken so much blood, sweat, and tears, and the blood of others as well, to keep me sustained, let me tell you. It has taken a lot to get me to this point, but I say that I do not, while proud, yes, I do not consider myself a success, because to this point, I would be hard pressed to say that my efforts have turned a profit. So what I mean by that is I have spent so much over the years creating product, improving my my equipment, my computer, my iPad, things of that nature, that I have poured so much into putting myself into a position to pursue full-time art that I have yet to really see a return. Right now, I'm spending all of my profits on art supplies, on equipment. Every other day a cable breaks, or I need a new memory card, or some of my expensive markers die, and all of that sort of thing. So it's always something. So what I have done, thankfully, I have varied interests. I'm interested in fashion, and recently I have begun delving into home fragrance. So I have other avenues in which I am earning income. And so all of my projects feed each other. If I source vintage clothing for my shop, I have a shop, Coco Naughty. If you are new here, hi, hello. I have a vintage shop. It is an art and vintage fashion boutique. And so any profits from that go directly back into paying bills, purchasing supplies, and usually by the end of the day, there's very little, if anything, left. I do live alone. I support myself. I pay my bills. And so, as you can imagine, there's just not a lot of wiggle room there. And to put the final nail in the coffin, I live in California, Southern California specifically. So it is expensive out here. Tale for another day. But yeah, so it has taken me essentially my entire life, as corny as that sounds, to get to this point. But truthfully, it has taken me since my later teenage years until today to get on the path to be successful, we'll say, because again, I do not consider myself to be a success just yet. Now, does that sound as though I am being hard on myself? Yes, but also we need to be realistic here, because life is expensive and I work hard, and your girl's not rolling in money. So not that I want to be, but we're teetering, we'll say. So we just have to be careful. We got to keep working, and we just can't slack off. But there you have it. There's the answer to that question. Number 2, how are you? She says, well, I'm in one piece, thankfully. I'm doing my thing, chugging along, and we're doing all right. We're doing all right. Just working away and enjoying the process. Question number 3. Do I have tips for someone to refine their skills? The number one tip that I can give to any aspiring creatives out there, this is going to irritate each and every one of you, because you've heard this 1,000 times. You already know what I'm going to say. Get off your ass and practice. Practice, practice, practice. You are not going to get any better if you sit your butt down and watch instructional videos, watch other artists on YouTube. None of that is going to do you any good if you do not pull out a piece of paper and a pencil and attempt to make some marks on that paper. So I'm going to end the corniness there, because I would like to provide at least some nugget, some valuable nugget. And the one piece of advice that I will give you, that I would venture to guess is not something that most people will say, And that is to force yourself. It sucks, it's boring, but force yourself to draw. And I'm talking about drawing. This could extend to any other creative pursuit. Just apply the advice as it is pertinent to whatever creative pursuit you have. But in terms of drawing, force yourself to draw things that you have absolutely no interest in. Absolutely no interest in. Why? Because if you do that, you are forcing your brain to go into autopilot and to think objectively. I will give you an example from my own personal experience. I am an illustrator, duh, okay? But I have dabbled in comic book illustration. I love comic books. I love world building. I love scene creation, character design, all of that. But here's the thing. And I have, by the way, created full-blown comic books. So I'm not just speaking out of my ass here. I'm speaking from experience. In order to become better at your art, you need to have a decent grip on everything. If I wanted to create a comic book, that includes illustrating and rendering backgrounds, scenery, everything, furniture, trees. Then you have to worry about perspective and all of those things. It isn't that I dislike illustrating furniture. It isn't that I dislike illustrating buildings, but that is not the core of what I do. I'm a fashion girl. I love creating cartoons. I love drawing clothing. If I could do that all day, perfect. But in order to create a convincing story, a convincing visual, I have to be able to learn how to draw everything else. In some of my panels in my comic book, there are vehicles, there are cars. So I have to teach myself how to illustrate vehicles, cars, metallic elements. I don't draw robots. I have no particular interest in robots, but if you told me, draw me a robot, I can draw you a robot. Why? Because I have practiced, I have stared at mechanical pieces and I have sketched them out. I found a random tool sitting around and I put the tool on my desk and like an actual wrench, a hammer, something dumb like that, okay? And I would pull it out and I would draw it and I would start to pick up the nuances of the shape of metal and how the sun, how it reflects and the rust and things like that. So over time, any little activity that you do like that, say for instance, drawing a wrench here or picking up, a discarded skateboard wheel or something, every time you sit down and you draw one of those, you are building experience and you may not realize it, but that experience is actually going to help you as an artist later on. So that ended up being, we fell a little bit down a rabbit hole with that one, but that's probably one of the most valuable pieces of advice that I could give to anyone who's trying to improve their art, is to force yourself to draw stuff you don't want to draw. And no, it's not fun, but education isn't always fun. So there you have it. Will I ever, this is the last question, will I ever blog? Because apparently she misses my blogs. Aw, you miss me. I assume that you mean vlog, my video log videos here on YouTube, and the answer is yes, I vlog fairly regularly. I never stopped vlogging, I just cut them back. I am not sure if I will ever return to a weekly vlog format because I feel as though my life is fairly not uneventful, but I've put myself on fairly predictable work schedule, so I feel as though my vlogs can be a bit repetitive. And so at this point, I have decided that I wanted to do 2 vlogs per month. I may fall off the train and do 1 per month every once in a while if things get really busy, but I think 1 vlog every couple of weeks or so is doable and probably more easily digestible for some of you. So yeah, the vlogs are not going anywhere, and they never did. Something that recently came to my attention from a couple of you is you people, you people. No, sorry, I didn't mean that to come off as condescending as it did. But some of you lovely subscribers, how's that? Have let me know that not all of my videos are, they're not showing up in your feed, and that's just YouTube being YouTube. And so what I say to you all is, if you are not getting notifications, just don't check back every single day. And I'm not going to ask you to ring that bell and sign your life away and do all of that for my channel, because I just don't want to be that invasive into your personal space. Now, if you care, if you want to, be here for every single video, and you want the little notifications every time Karla does something on YouTube, well, by all means, baby, hit that bell, smack it, do all of the good things. But I will say to those of you who would rather not have me bombarding you with notifications every day or whenever I upload, just check back to my channel once a week or every couple of weeks, or hell, check back at the beginning or the end of every month, whatever. Put yourself on a Karla checking schedule and just check in every once in a while, and then you can see what you've missed if you have not received any notifications. So that is going to do it for this video. Thank you everyone for watching, for hanging out. I hope that you enjoyed this illustration. I love her. I think she turned out so cute, from the colors to the design. She's just very me. She's beautiful. She's cute. I have nothing else to say about her. I'm not turning this into an art print or anything. I don't even want to put the words out into the universe just because it may not happen, but I'm toying with the idea of turning this into a sticker design. And the reason that I don't like to throw these things out into the universe is because I say I want to turn something into a sticker design, and then it takes me 4 months to get it done, right? It's not something that I can sit down and complete in a couple of days. So I just add it to my endless list of things to do. And while I do end up doing it eventually, it takes me a while, and I hate to keep you all waiting. But if I can toot my horn about one thing, it's that every time I say I'm going to do something, I typically do it. Now, it doesn't happen in a week, it doesn't happen in 2 weeks, sometimes it happens in a month, sometimes 2 months, but I always do what I say I'm going to do. So there's that. Well, maybe we shall see. We shall see. But the video is over. Thank you once again for hanging out and for watching. If anyone out in YouTube land has any questions for me, any of my Patreon patrons who are watching who may have a question, feel free to leave your questions here or over on Patreon. YouTube subscribers, leave any questions down below, just anything. We don't have to have serious conversations about life, just anything. If you feel as though you want to ask me a question, just feel free to ask, and I will be happy to answer any questions or give any advice if you are coming to me for advice. If you are, why? But anything, just leave anything down below if you want me to answer any questions or talk about anything, speak on any topic, etc., because I think for my next Sketchy Saturday, we'll probably do something similar to this, a Q&A format video. So off I go. Be bad, be good. I do not give a damn which. Just make sure you come back in one piece. Take a look down below. Everything you need to know will always be down below. Follow me on Instagram, and I will see you in the next one.